Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do your December the 22nd, just for today, in a meditation. I hope you're having a beautiful morning. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D recovery services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com or just leave a message in the comments below. I do respond as quickly as I can. Okay, the title of today's meditation just for the day is A New Way to Live. When at the end of the road, we find that we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs, we all face the same dilemma. Either go on as best we can to the bitter ends, jails, institutions, or death, or find a new way to live. That is taken from the basic text, page 87. What was the worst aspect of active addiction? For many of us, it wasn't the chance that we might die someday of our disease. The worst part was the living death we experienced every day, the never-ending meaninglessness of life. We felt like walking ghosts, not living, loving parts of the world around us. In recovery, we've come to believe that we're here for a reason: to love ourselves and to love others. In working the 12 steps, we have learned to accept ourselves. With that self-acceptance has come self-respect. We have seen that everything we do has an effect on others. We are a part of the lives of those around us, and they of ours. And they of ours. We've begun to trust other people and to acknowledge our responsibility to them. In recovery, we come back to life. We maintain our new lives by contributing to the welfare of others and seeking each day to do that better. That's where the 10th, 11th, and 12th steps come in. The days of living like a ghost are past, but only so long as we actively seek to be healthy, loving, contributing parts of our own lives and the lives of others around us. Just for today, I have found a new way to live. Today, I will seek to serve others with love and to love myself. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Many of us can say from our own experience that we have gone to the bitter ends. Many of us went on to jails, we went on to institutions. And granted, if we're listening to this podcast, we did not go on to death. But for many of us, we physically came very, very close to death. And what's so interesting is that dying wasn't really our biggest worry in active addiction. We became quite comfortable with the thought that at any moment we could overdose. or we could end up in a car with some people that had very bad intentions for us, or we could very easily be involved in a shootout. That's so country, huh? A shootout over drugs, a bad drug deal. So, in truth, we took risk with our very lives every day because the drugs were more important than our living without them. We became comfortable with that. Oh, now I know there's foxhole prayers. Many of us at the brink of death would cry out to God, help me. And then once the help came and we were relieved of that distress, we went right back. There's many people I've heard share in the rooms that talk about they were so wrapped up in the disease of addiction and using that their ideal of raising children or being part of a family no longer mattered to them. They were relieved, in fact, when the children left or were taken away, because that meant that they could use without having any kind of guilt about what else they needed to be doing instead. And I've heard people say um, they overdosed, woke up in the hospital, was released, and went right back to the drugs. So the point is that many of us were just the walking dead, truly like zombies. And then something disrupted that. Something caused that frame of mind to be hindered or less easy to be comfortable with. And we were given something that I call the gift of desperation. And we landed in Narcotics Anonymous. And I really enjoy this third paragraph. It says, in recovery, we came back to life. So once we get here, we find out that once we stop using, our senses begin to wake up. And in true, initially our senses awakening, right? It's very painful. But Narcotics Anonymous doesn't leave you in that pain by yourself. Make a meeting. Start listening to other people share their experience, strength, and hope. And when you're ready, share your experience, strength, and hope. Let's begin to contribute to our new lives instead of taking away from ourselves and the lives of others. This program is about loving ourselves and loving others. And I always wonder when we say, we will love you until you learn to love yourself. For me, loving myself was a process. Yeah, granted, the first year I loved myself more than when I was using. But in the 10th year, I still struggled with coming to an understanding of what loving myself looked like. I still found myself in ill relationships that weren't healthy for me. And I like to call them love, but they were actually lust. I was still doing harmful things to myself. So the definition of loving myself was always fluid. And I'm in a better spot today with that than I've ever been. But it's still a work in progress. So I like to say, we will love you until you learn to love yourself in whatever shape or form that takes. And we will love you even when you can't love yourself. And that's something the person on the receiving end has no control over me loving them. That's a gift that in Narcotics Anonymous we receive unconditionally and we're able to give it as well. Today, I challenge you to act lovingly, not just with yourself, but with others. Practice loving others unconditionally and report back to me. Let me know how that feels for you because it has totally changed my life. I seek to serve others with love and to love myself. Let that be our goal for today. Let that be the word for today. Let that be our living experience just for today. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I will be talking to you soon. Have a beautiful day on purpose.